So the NHX-10 hybrid inverter does come with monitoring software, but I'll use that term fairly loosely. It does come with a Wi-Fi dongle that you can use to set up the SolarMan app to remotely view your inverter. But even opening up the SolarMan app, it's extremely basic. You can look at historical information of what your app has produced, but it seems to only update every 5 to 10 minutes. So it's not real time by any means. You can see some basic statistics. You can look at some logs from your inverter, but you can't change any configuration of this inverter within this app. And so for a lot of people, you're going to find that it's really going to be unusable. And if you've been around this channel for any length of time, I've mentioned Solar Assistant for a lot of different inverters that we've looked at in the past. And this inverter is compatible with Solar Assistant. Now I was trying to figure out, how do you connect Solar Assistant up to this inverter? Some inverters you can use the wireless capability to be able to wirelessly connect to Solar Assistant. And with this inverter, you have to have a wired connection. So in order to wire this inverter into Solar Assistant, I had to get a USB to RJ45 cable, and then I had to find that specific plug on the bottom of the inverter. Ian from Watts 24/7 had another way that he used to wire something inside the inverter, but I wanted to be able to try and utilize this plug on the bottom so I didn't have to open anything up. And I came across a forum thread on the NHX inverter, and one of the users on there, his name is Mike C, and he was able to source the specific connectors needed to plug into the Wi-Fi port on the bottom of this inverter. And so all the credit for finding these connectors goes to him. So thank you again, Mike, for finding those. We're going to take the RS-45 cable from Solar Assistant. We've got our pin out here. RS-45A is white, B is green, and then black is negative. And then on this port, pin number 2 is for RS-45A. Pin number 3 is RS-45B. And so we're going to solder on the white and green onto these pins, plug it into the inverter and into Solar Assistant, and we should have a Solar Assistant connection to that inverter. So pin number 2 needs to be A. RS-45A is white. So let's put our cap on first, then our sleeve. Now we can solder this stuff together. Definitely not the prettiest job in the world, but it should work. The Solar Assistant manual says that pin 4 is ground, and then this black cable is ground. But what I saw from Watts 24/7 said we only need these 2 cables. So I don't know if I need to add the ground, and if it actually is a ground, we'll try it like this first. But if anybody's got any ideas on whether or not that pin number 4 is a ground connection, please, by all means, let me know. I can easily make an adjustment to add this 3rd wire as the ground. But for now, we'll slide this up in place and tighten everything down. Nice and snug. I actually have my little ground wire sticking out of the bottom. Sweet. So now we'll take our newly made RS-45 cable. We will unscrew the Wi-Fi connector, because you can't have both the SolarMan Wi-Fi connected and Solar Assistant at the same time, because they utilize the same port. We'll plug that in up in there. Nice fit. Love it. And then over here is our Raspberry Pi for Solar Assistant. We'll go ahead and plug into that. We'll open Solar Assistant, go to the gear, hit disconnect, switch from Lux Power to Mega Revo, hit save, and connect. discovered inverter number 1, and we're connected. And we're in self-consumption mode. Currently pulling 386 watts because we have the dehumidifier running. And if we look at the settings, very cool. So Solar Assistant is going to be a whole lot more usable than the Solar Man app that is used by default with this inverter. I want to thank Mike C again for sourcing those connectors so that I could get everything wired in properly through the bottom of the inverter and not have to go through the case. I know Ian has said that he bought a bunch of those connectors. He's going to be making some custom pigtails for his USB to RS-45 cables so that they will also be able to plug into the bottom. So you won't have to go and buy these directly from AliExpress and wait however long I ended up having to wait for those to actually show up. So when I get the links to those cables, I will add those to the description below so that you can pick them up straight from Watts 24/7. He also has the orange pies for sale so that you can have your Solar Assistant install ready to go out of the box, or you can buy your own Raspberry Pi and install the software and get your own copy of Solar Assistant up and running that way as well. In going through a lot of the different settings, some of the modes aren't selectable. The time of use settings might not be available, but a majority of configuration options that you would need to make any changes to remotely, I believe, are available in Solar Assistant. And then plus, you get the real-time ability to be able to look and see what's going on right now. Not what's going on 10 minutes ago, because that's so helpful. I know there's a lot of people out there that really like Solar Assistant, and so I wanted to show how you can connect this inverter to Solar Assistant as well. So with that, I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all stay safe, stay cool, and we'll catch up with you later.